today we're going to look at trigonometric ratios. We're going to continue looking at what we were seeing yesterday about trigonometric ratios. Okay, and yesterday during our class, I mentioned that the idea behind the triangle is very important, especially if they give you, a fraction for any trigonometric ratio. Okay, so whatever we covered yesterday, okay, we're going to use that a little bit more today. Okay, and yesterday we were only focused on angles, on finding the values of angles that are less than 90 degrees. Okay, which are what we call acute angles. Okay, so the question that needs to be asked is that, in the first lesson we learned that there are 4 quadrants altogether. Okay, there is quadrant 1, there's quadrant 2, there's quadrant 3, and there's quadrant 4. And so far we've been only talking about sine, cos, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent of the first quadrant only. Okay, so what happens if, let's say, I ask you to find the value of sine, let's say 120, or cos 347, or or secant 719. Okay, for example. Okay, so what are the steps that we need to take in order to do this? Okay, so first of all, let me tell you, okay, that in each of the 4 quadrants, there are what we call conditions. Okay, there are certain values that will bring you a positive value, and there are certain values that will bring you a negative value, depending on where the angle is in the quadrant. Okay, so let me give you the summary first, then we will discuss a few examples. For example, firstly, in the first quadrant, all values, okay, are positive. Okay, positive values, I'm writing it in brown. Okay, in the first quadrant, any angle in the first quadrant, all trigonometric ratios are positive. Okay, in the second quadrant, only sine is positive. Okay, for example, sine 120, sine 44, okay, or sine 92. Okay, all these are positive in value. Okay, if you don't believe me, then you take out your calculator and you press cos 120, cos 144, or find tangent 92. Okay, your calculator will show you a negative value. Okay, press and see. Cos 120. Okay, you press cos 120, you get negative 0.5. But when you press sine 120, okay, you will get a very long number, I know, but you will get a positive value. Okay, if I do tangent 120, you will also get a negative value. Okay, which means to say that for any angle in the second quadrant, which is 90 to 180 degrees, only the value of sine is positive. Okay, this is not a formula, it is a fact. Okay, a fact that you have to remember. Ini bukan formula ni. Okay, dia mesti, after you do a lot of trigonometry, this thing must be second nature to you lah. You must know that, oh, okay, this angle is what quadrant? This quadrant only, only sine is positive. Okay, so on and so forth. In the third quadrant, which is between 180 to 270, okay, only the value of tangent is positive. The value of sine and the value of cos is negative in the third quadrant. Okay, and finally, in the last quadrant, okay, only the value of cos is positive. Okay, for example, cos 312. This is a positive value. We're not interested in the value yet. We just want to know dia punya sifat. Is it positive or is it negative in value? Okay, so the quadrant where it is from, okay, is very important because it tells you more than just which quadrant is it in. Okay, it tells you whether the cos value is positive or negative. Okay, Tangent 312, okay, will give you a negative value. Again, I'm not interested in the value. Saya mau tahu dia punya sifat dahulu. Okay, dia punya sifat adalah sangat penting. Okay, so this is the first thing that we need to master lah. You need to remember, okay, the quadrant, what angle yang termasuk dalam quadrant keberapa, and line quadrant, bahkan line nilai yang positif, line nilai yang negatif. Okay, and this is kind of a standard practice among all admaths teachers. Okay, the way to remember is ASTC, which is all science teachers crazy. Okay, you remember, okay, first is all, okay, second is science, because it's science teachers lah, so sine is positive. Third quadrant is teachers, okay, so tangent, and then C is crazy for cos lah, okay, so all science teachers crazy. So you remember, okay, first quadrant, all is positive. Second quadrant, only sine is positive, the rest is negative. Third quadrant, only tangent is positive because teachers. Okay, and fourth quadrant, only cos is positive. So now, what do we do when I ask you to find a value, okay, that is very big? Okay, let's say for example, I want you to find the value of cos 112. Okay, there are many ways to do this, but just like I've been saying since the first class, I don't always like to use the shortest way. The shortest way is, of course, you press the calculator lah, cos 112. Okay, you press the calculator, make your life so much easier, which is negative 0.3746. Okay, negative 0.3746. But I don't want you to do it this method. There is a reason why, and it will become more clearer as we go along in this journey lah. I want you to do this the long way. Okay, not just, you can use the calculator untuk membantu kamu mendapat jawapan lah. Okay, but you need to show me you're working in the long way. So this is what it is. Number one, identify. Step one, identify the quadrant and the value characteristic. Ini step pertama. Okay, kenal pasti ini sudut bahkan quadrant keberapa and what is the value characteristic? Is it positive or is it negative? So in our case over here, cos 112 degrees is in the second quadrant. Okay, cos of the second quadrant, kalau second quadrant, cos adalah bernilai negative. Okay, so is a negative value. At the beginning stage, I'm going to write down all these long sentences lah. Walaupun sebenarnya kamu tidak payah tulis, you can do this all in your head. Okay, but you know, just to make sure that it is running, just to make sure that you understand what the steps are. Okay, then it becomes easier the more times you do it lah. Okay, the second step, after you have identified the quadrant and the value characteristic, I want you to tell me, find the base angle. This is the thing that we did on the first class. Okay, what is the base angle for 112? 112 second quadrant. So the base angle is
68.
68. Okay, how do you get 68? 180 minus 112. Because remember, base angle second quadrant dia punya garis begini kan. So sini adalah 112. So sini adalah dia punya base angle. Okay. So then the third step is you combine everything together. So cos 112 equals to, put the negative value because kita tahu dia ada negative. Okay, then cos the base angle. Okay, let me show you. So the negative value you put here, the base angle you put here, cos you remain. Okay, of course you will get the same answer. You will get negative 0.3746. Okay, every year I teach this and every year students always scold me. They say, sir, already got an easy method. Why you force us to do this very long-winded method? Kenapa kita kena belajar cara yang lebih panjang ini? Well, my answer is always the same. Sometimes, if you want the thing in the future to be easier, you got to work a little bit harder at the beginning. Okay, there is a lot of truth to bersusah-susah dahulu, bersenang-senang kemudian. Saya boleh ajar kamu untuk bersenang-senang dahulu. I can easily say forget about this step lah, not important one, but you will suffer later. Okay, you will suffer when we come to 6.4, 6.5. Okay, so I'm insisting, okay, I am insisting that you do this method. Okay, you can verify the answer. Kau boleh tekan ini. Tetapi when you press negative cos 68, you will get the same value. Okay, negative cos 68 will give you the value negative 0.3746. I am purposely making you do this the long way so that when we hit 6.4 and 6.5 and 6.6, okay, you will know why this is important. Well, I hope you know why this is important. Okay, I can show you the easy way, but I tell you, if you do the easy way, you're not going to understand what is going to happen in 6.4, 6.5, and 6.6. Okay, so kita bersusah dahulu supaya kita bersenang-senang kemudian. Okay, so 3 very basic steps. Identify the quadrant and the value characteristic. Tell me whether this one is positive, negative value, depending on the quadrant. Okay, find the base angle. Always find the base angle. We did that the first class. Okay, doesn't matter whether it's a positive angle or negative angle, we always find the base angle from the zero. Then thirdly, combine both together. Okay, let's try one. Okay, I'm going to give you this to tangent 165.7 degrees and okay, tangent 165.7 degrees. Okay, step number 1, identify the quadrant. 165.7 is quadrant
2.
Okay, quadrant 2. Okay, quadrant 2 tangent is positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. Okay. Sorry kita berpegang lagi balik kepada ini A, S, T, C. Ini semua adalah positive values. So, astaga. Okay, so that means tangent, what is the base angle?
14.3.
Okay. 14.3 14.3, is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So base angle is 14.3. Now we combine all this together. Tangent 165.7 equals to negative, apa ini? Sorry. Negative tangent 14.3. Okay. Doing this practice is very important. Okay, I'm going to say this again and again. Very, very important. Okay, then you can tekan your calculator lah. Up to you lah. You want to tekan 165.7 so can. You want to tekan negative tangent 14.3, you will get the answer negative 0.2549. Okay, 4 decimal places. Tidak puas hati, kamu tekanlah tangent 165.7. You will get the exact same answer. Okay, satu cara panjang, satu cara pendek. Saya mau kamu pelajari cara panjang. Okay, because sometimes cara pendek kamu tidak boleh dapat ini. Okay, let's try another question. Cotangent. Okay, cotangent negative 555. Okay, cotangent negative 555. Okay, the steps are the same. Okay, the steps are the same. Okay, except that now we are dealing with two things. We are dealing with bukan lagi sine cos tangent. We are dealing with cotangent. Secondly, we are dealing with a negative angle. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is convert the negative angle to the positive angle. Negative 555 is in which quadrant? Anybody?
Second quadrant.
Second quadrant. Okay, so dia pusing satu kali, and then dia beginilah bahkan. Something like this. Is it? Everybody agree? Second quadrant?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Kiki cakap third. 555 minus 360. 195. Yeah,
Second.
Yeah, second quadrant. Negative 555, you have to pusing the other way. Bukan anti-clockwise atau clockwise. Okay, fine. 360 tambah 90 is 440. Okay. 450 kah? 450. Tambah 90 lagi is 540. So baru sinilah 555 lah kan. Okay. So it is second quadrant. Okay, second quadrant. Okay, tapi ini adalah cotangent lah. Apa kawan kepada cotangent? Cotangent sebenarnya adalah terbalik kepada
Tangent.
kepada tangent. Tangent. Kepada tangent. Tangent. Okay, kepada tangent. Okay. Tangent second quarter, positive. Second quadrant, positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. Okay. Tangent second quadrant is negative value. Yes, I know we're using cotangent. Okay, but okay. Tangent and cotangent are friends. I mean, yalah. Okay, dia adalah terbalik daripada satu sama lain. So if tangent in the second quadrant is negative, cotangent pun adalah negative. Okay, base angle.
75.
Are you sure or not?
15.
Okay, base angle is 15 degrees. Nina. Okay,
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
15 degrees. Okay, therefore, cotangent negative 555 is actually the same as negative cotangent 15. Okay, negative cotangent 15. And what is the relationship? How do we find cotangent? There's no cotangent inside your... Yeah, there's no cotangent inside your calculator. How do you find the cotangent? Actually, I'm half wondering whether my jalan kerja is correct. It seems correct though. Sekali tengok saya ajar kamu benda yang salah. Feel that is correct lah. Sorry, what is the friend of this one? Negative cotangent 15 will be equals to negative 1 over tangent
Tangent 15.
15. Okay, so what will this answer be?
Negative 3.732.
Okay, negative 3.732. Okay, guys, shift tangent and satu per tangent is not the same thing. Okay, jangan kasih tekan shift tangent. And ini tahun-tahun pun benda yang sama yang akan berlaku. Shift tangent and cotangent is not the same thing. Okay, jangan juga kamu, okay, 1 over means shift. Tidak. Okay, come on guys. 1 over tangent 15, just tekan saja. 1 divide by tangent 15. Okay, you will get negative 3.732. Now, this is one of those cases where we have no way to tekan calculator with this. Okay, first of all, you're dealing with a negative angle. Secondly, you're dealing with a cotangent, which is not in your calculator. Paling-paling pun you can do tangent. Okay, but not every negative angle, let me tell you this, not every negative angle will give you a negative value. Okay, so this one needs to be done very carefully again, which is why I'm stressing that you need to use the 3-step process that I tell you. Identify the quadrant where it is in. Then from the quadrant, you look and see whether it's negative or positive. Then you look for the base angle, use the base angle. Okay, the base angle is definitely the safest method, okay, to do this. Let's try another one. I wish I didn't close this book earlier. Okay, let's try another one now. Okay, cosecant squared negative 1.2 radian. This is super wow. Okay, what happens if we get this? Okay, first of all, let's change this to degree. Okay, 1.2 radian equals to how many degrees?
Negative 216.
Nope. Nope.
Negative 68.75.
Negative 68.75. Guys, there is no pi over here. So you cannot just times 180. Okay. Yeah, 1.2 times. Yeah, you cannot just times 180. Okay. Kalau dia ada pi di sana boleh, but this is 1.2 like purely 1.2, no pi. Okay, so it's 1.2 divided by pi times 180. Okay, which is what we learned when we were doing circular measure. Okay, now let's consider this. Cosecant squared negative 68.75. Okay, which quadrant is this in? First, second.
Quadrant 4.
Okay, this is in quadrant 4. Okay, quadrant 4. Now, cosecant, the cosecant punya friend is who?
Sine.
Sine. Okay, so since it is sine, sine quadrant 4 is positive or negative?
Negative.
Okay, it will be negative. Okay, base angle. This one is easy lah. Sebab dia punya sudut pun sudah kecil kan. So the base angle is 68.75. Okay, so let's bring this all together. Cosecant squared, okay, negative 68.75 is equals to negative, okay, because it's quadrant 4, okay, cosecant squared 68.75. Okay, negative cosecant squared. Negative sebab negatif kita sudah identify bahawa nilainya adalah negatif. Okay, now the friend of cosecant, as you say, is sine. So this will be negative 1 over sine squared 68.75. How to press that? Okay, so sine squared 68.75. This is how you press this. You press sine 68.75. Okay, then you press equals, then you press squared. Kasih kuasa 2 that value. Okay, I know where I made the mistake already, but I will show you in a while. Okay, so Yong's answer is negative 1.1512. Okay, which is true, except that I forgot to mention one thing. Okay, this one, okay, because it is cosecant squared, and every cosecant is, every cosecant in the fourth quadrant is negative. So what you will need to do is actually negative cosecant 68.75 times negative cosecant 68.75. So the actual value will be positive 1.1512. Because it is a squared angle. Okay, we haven't learned this actually because this is in the 6.4. Okay, this is actually in 6.4. But when you're involved in a squared, okay, when a squared is involved, this step ini kena berubah sedikit lah. Okay, because these steps only work if it is a single ratio. We don't square it. Okay, but because we are squaring it now, so we have to square the sine 68.75, which is a negative number, twice. Okay, yeah, so it's a little bit complicated in that part lah. Okay, but for those of you who are still wondering how to tekan that, okay, you have to press sine 68.75. Okay, once you get the value, then only you kasih square. Okay, some people, okay, they like to teach like this, sine squared 68.75 bukan equals to sine 68.75. The value itu kamu kasih square. Okay, this is how it is understood lah. Okay, kita tulis macam ni, tapi kita fahamnya macam ini. Okay, 68.75. You don't square the angle, you square the entire value. That's why saya cakap, kamu tekan dulu sine 68.75, baru kamu tekan sama dengan, baru kamu square. Okay, the very last thing you do is to square the thing. So you find the value of 1 sine. Okay, then after that you square it. Okay, in order to get that. Okay, all right. So this is the first part. This is the first part where we are talking about angles that are more than 90 degrees. We have to consider the quadrants. We have to consider whether it is a positive or negative value. Then we find the base angle and then we bring it all together. Okay, so that's the basic part of this. And once you have this skill, okay, you can basically find the value of any sine, cos, tangent, okay, of any angle at any direction, positive direction or the negative direction. Okay, but as I said, it takes practice. Okay, so put this into, oh no, sorry, I moved my slide, but it hasn't shown yet. Okay, so these 3 steps, okay, commit this to memory and practice it a lot. Identify the quadrant, tell me whether it's negative or positive value. Find the base angle, okay, and then combine it all together. Okay, use these 3 steps to help you. Okay, the second thing that I want to cover today is what we call special angles. Okay, and just like yesterday, the idea of the complementary angles, right? When you understand how the complementary angles work, yang dua sudut itu bila kamu campur sebenarnya dia adalah 90 darjah, bahkan kamu tidak perlu pun menghafal. Kan sin theta equals to cos 90 minus theta dan semua itu. You don't really have to hafal. All you have to do is understand the relationship between 2 complementary angles. Okay, kalau 32, the complementary angle is 58. Okay, no need to think because complementary angles, okay, they make up 90 degrees. Okay, now in the case of special angles, okay, and every year I tell my students to do this. I want you to memorize the triangle. Instead of memorizing the value, which is a waste of time, okay, you memorize the triangle and use the triangle to help you. So there are 2 very special triangles that we need to talk about. Okay, so the first triangle is this. Let's say I have a triangle yang ketiga-tiga adalah 60 darjah, 60 darjah, 60 darjah. Okay, so the equilateral triangle. Okay, and let's say each of these is 1. Okay, panjangnya adalah 1. Suka hati saya lah. Okay, I can do 2, 2, 2 also if you want, but I can also do 1, 1, 1. Hold on, let me just double check something. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's make this easier lah. Let me do 2, 2, 2 lah. 2, 2, 2 is better. Okay, 2, 2, 2 is better. Sorry. Okay, now let's say I split this triangle into half so that I can form a 90-degree angle. Okay, dan saya ambil yang ini saja keluar. Okay, so this is what I will get lah. The length here is 2, the angle here is 60, this is 90 degrees. How much is this angle over here?
30.
Okay, this will be 30. Partly because it is a complementary angle and partly also because ini 60 ni kan dia kasih bahagi 2 lah. Okay, how much is this length?
1.
Okay, 1. Sebab dia adalah bahagi 2. Okay, kalau sini adalah 1 dan sini adalah 2, okay, how much is this length?
Square root 3.
Okay, this will be square root of 3. Sebab 2 kuasa 2 equals to 1 kuasa 2 tambah b kuasa 2. This is b kuasa 2 lah. So 4 minus 1 equals to b squared. So b equals to square root of 3. Okay, tell me you can find immediately 6 pieces, 12 lah. You can actually find 12. 12 pieces of information from this triangle alone. But the 6 most important ones are this. Okay, what is the value of sine 30, cos 30, tangent 30? What is the value of sine 60, cos 60, and tangent 60? Without using the calculator, only this triangle. Sine 30 is?
1/2.
1/2. Okay, opposite over hypotenuse. Now you know why it's so important during Form 3 kan, balik-balik ini so tua. Saya tidak tahu siapa yang which method your teacher in Form 3 taught you, but this is the standard method lah. Okay, sine is always opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite to what? Opposite the angle. Okay, what is the value of cos 30?
Square
Square
root
root 3 over 2.
Okay, square root 3 over 2. Tangent 30?
1 over square root 3.
Very good. Okay, 1 over square root 3. Sorry, I had to pause for a while. Sine 60.
Square root 3 over
Square
2.
root of 3
Okay,
over 2.
square root 3 over 2 because they are complementary. Yeah? Okay, and cos 60 will be 1 over 2. Okay, kalau kita pakai Socatua pun boleh. Kalau kita pakai complementary angles also, you will get the same answer. And tangent 60 will be
Square root 3.
square root 3
over 1.
over 1 is square root 3 lah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so no, it's fine, it's fine. You can say over 1, no problem. Tapi akhir sekali dia akan jadi square root 3 jugalah. Okay, now why do we call these special angles? Okay, we call these special angles because instead of memorizing this, which is what a lot of students will do and they will die doing, okay, kamu hafal saja ini segitiga. It's better to hafal the segitiga, use the segitiga and the Socatua to help you. Okay, bagi mereka yang Socatua sampai hari ini pun kamu masih belum faham, okay, pergi memahaminya. Apa maksud ni Socatua ni? Okay, it's something that you learn in Form 3. I'm sure that when you learn maths this year with Cikgu Kok, she should have taught you this. Okay, this is a very basic mathematics skill. Mencari nilai sin, cos, tangent dengan menggunakan CC. Memorize the special triangle. This is more important. Okay, because from the special triangle, you can get the special values. Sin 30, cos 30, tangent 30. Sin 60, cos 60, tangent 60. However, there is another special triangle. Okay, there is another special triangle that we need to talk about. Okay, which is if let's say I have a triangle like this, but both this angle is 45 degrees. Okay, now memandangkan kedua-dua ini adalah sudut yang sama, that means this and this must be the same value. Kan? Sebab dia adalah equilateral. Isosceles triangle. Okay, isosceles triangle dia adalah segitiga kaki sama. So let's say I say this is panjangnya 1, this is panjangnya 1. How much is my hypotenuse?
Square root 2.
Okay, it will be square root 2. Now you can give me 3 more special values. Tangent 45, cos 45. I don't know why I started with tangent, so bodoh. Sine 45. Okay, what is the value of sine 45, tangent 45, and cos 45? Use any 45 degree, doesn't matter. You get the same answer. Sine 45? Sine 45.
1 over root 2.
Okay, 1 over root 2. Cos 45?
1
1
over
over
square root 2.
Okay, 1 over square root 2. It is the exact same value. No problem. Okay, and tangent 45?
1.
1.
1 over 1 is 1. Okay, so you have a choice. You can choose to memorize all these 9 special angles. Because today's class is all about kita cuba jangan gunakan calculator kalau boleh. Some things you can actually derive on your own and you memorize them. Rather than kamu, balik-balik tekan calculator. Because sometimes even the human that press the calculator can make mistake. Okay, you have a choice that you can memorize all these 9 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or you memorize the 2 triangles. This triangle and this triangle. Because the 2 triangles will give you all these special angles, because sometimes in the question, they will ask you, okay, without using the calculator, calculate the value of this, or state the value of this. Okay, calculator cannot give you this kind of answer. Okay, no matter how smart your calculator is, dia tidak akan bagi jawapan begini. Okay, dia akan bagi 1 over square root 2. Okay, they will give you this 0.7071. Ini yang akan diberi oleh calculator. The moment an examiner sees you write this, automatic salah sudah. Sebab ini ketara sangat yang kamu pakai calculator. the question will say without using a calculator. When you see the words without using a calculator, you need to know that the answer, the only acceptable answer is the answer in cert form. Okay, yang ada square root 2, yang ada square root 3 macam ini. Bukan perpuluhan. Okay, so perpuluhan itu maksudnya sangat ketara yang kamu guna calculator. Kalau saya pemeriksa, I will automatically give 0. Okay, because people ask you to not use calculator, kau guna calculator juga. Jadi kalau kau tidak ikut arahan, bagus bagi kosong. Okay, so be very aware of this. Okay, let's answer a few questions to do with this. So, we're going to use these two. Okay, commit this into memory. Okay, these 6 values and these 3 special values. Okay, so find for me secant 150 without using the calculator. Okay, secant 150. Same thing. Okay, secant 150, which quarter is this? Which quadrant is this?
Quadrant 2.
Second
Okay,
quadrant.
quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 secant. Secant, siapa kawan secant?
Cos.
Cos. Okay, so let's consider. Quadrant 2 cos, positive or negative?
Negative.
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 Okay, negative value. Okay, so let's bring this all together. Oh, sorry, base angle. 150 base angle is
30.
30 degrees. Okay, so let's bring this together. Secant 150 is actually equals to negative, okay, secant 30. Okay, negative secant 30. Now we know that secant is cos, so this will be negative 1 over cos 30. What is the value of cos 30? Cos 30 is square root 3 over 2. So this will be negative 1 over square root 3 over 2, which will give you negative 2 over square root 3. Done. Give your answer in perpuluhan, automatically wrong. Automatic, because because the question that I'm giving you says don't use calculator. Give your answer in cert form. Special angle especially. Okay, the 3 special angles, 30, 60, 45 bahkan. These 3 special angles, you should never give your answer in decimal. Okay, you have to give your answer in cert form because it's special angles. Okay, why is it so special? Well, you have to ask the trigonometry gods. They think it's special. Okay, I'm sure there's something special about them, but we'll see how. Okay, let's try another one. Cosecant 240 degrees. Yeah, cosecant 240 degrees. Okay, same thing. Which quadrant?
3.
Okay, quadrant 3. Cosecant dia punya friend adalah
Sin.
sine. So is the positive or negative value? Is it positive or sine third quadrant?
Negative.
Negative. Okay, it will be a negative value. Okay, base angle.
60.
Okay, it will be 60 degrees. Okay, our first class of the day, so don't forget. So, cosecant 240 equals to negative, okay, we established this from the negative, okay, cosecant 60. Okay, but we know that cosecant, the friend is sine, so negative 1 over sine 60. What is the value for sine 60? Dun, dun, dun. Square root 3 over 2. Okay, so this will be negative 1 over square root 3 over 2, and you will get the same answer as just now, negative 2 over square root 3. Okay, so the idea, we are slowly bringing everything together for this first part of trigonometry lah. Okay, but it requires you to understand a lot of things and to work it all together lah. Okay, but the good news is if you practice this enough, it actually becomes very easy. Okay, cuma this is your first time being exposed to this kan, terus dia macam wow. Okay, dia akan like a bit confusing lah. Okay, one last question. Let's have secant pi plus cos pi over 2. Okay, let's do this. Secant pi and cos pi over 2. Let's change the pi to degrees first lah. Okay, so this will be secant how much? Astaga, apa ni? Sorry. Pi to degrees? Secant?
180.
180. Plus cos?
90.
Okay, 90. So this is something else that I didn't mention that I want to mention now. Okay, this is something that I didn't mention. Also another set of special angles lah. Okay, 0, 90, 180, 270, and 360, okay, are also another set of special angles. Okay, so sine 0 be 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0. This is the value. Sorry. Okay, I am not sure. No, actually, I am quite sure that you have learned this graph, the sine graph. 0, 1, 0, negative 1, and 0. This is 0, 90 degrees, 180, 270, and 360 degrees. I don't know whether you have learned, you should have learned this because this is actually in maths. Okay, but if you don't remember, if you don't remember or if you've forgotten that you learned this, okay, then that's for now lah. Okay, for now, okay, just these are the values. That means sine 0 degrees is 0. Okay, sine 90 degrees is 1, sine 180 degrees is 0, sine 270 is negative 1, and sine 360 is 0. You can press the calculator to verify if you want. Okay, but this comes after a lot of memorizing. Okay, cos 0 is 1. Okay, 90 is 0, negative 1, 0, and 1. Dia macam terbalik lah, tapi dia bukan terbalik. Okay, they are 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1. Okay, 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1. Okay, tangent saja yang ada special sikit. Hold on, let me see if I remember. Okay, okay, tangent 0 here, 0 here, 0 here. This one tiada nilai. I think so. Hold on, tangent 270. Yeah, you will get net error. Okay, tangent dia tiada 1 atau negative 1, dia 0 saja. But there is no tangent 90 and there is no tangent 270. Okay, you don't believe you can press tangent 90, no matter how many times you press, you will get the same answer, which is net error. Okay, there is no value for this. So secant 180, okay, is a very special angle. Okay, secant 180 is 1 over cos 180. Okay, plus cos 90 kita sudah kira, which is 0. So 1 over cos 180 is 1 over negative 1 plus 0, which will give you the answer of negative 1. Okay, so there's a lot of information to digest today. Okay, I understand now. When people are first exposed to these special angles, they're like, oh, wow, so many things to remember. But when you look at it, when you slowly look at it, actually it's not as difficult as it is like. It is a lot of information. Yes, I know. It is a lot of information, but it's actually very, very simple. These special angles of 0, 90, 180, 270, and 360 are very special. And if you remember the sine graph and the cos graph, okay, you will know why this is so. But more importantly than that is this. Is the two triangles that I showed you. Okay, this triangle, okay, the one yang ada jawapan dalam bentuk cert, and this triangle. Okay, the one yang dia punya sine and cos of 30, 60 degrees. Ini semua dalam bentuk jawapan cert. Because the question will say without using a calculator. And definitely without using calculator. We should be able to give the values of the trigonometric ratios. Okay, for these special angles. Kalau angle yang lain, okay, like the one that we did much earlier, like this, okay, 165.7, we use the 3-step method. Identify the quadrant, Identify whether it is positive or negative in value dengan menggunakan ini sebagai panduan. Okay, and then find the base angle and then combine them all together. Okay, so what I want you to do today is same thing in your workbook, page 82. Okay, and I shall not get the question wrong this time, Deschanel, so I shall make sure that I get it correct. Page, okay, 82, question C and D. All. So we need to memorize, sir, the special angle. No, you don't need to memorize. You should memorize the triangle. Okay, memorize the triangle, and if you have already learned the sine and cos graphs, and if you've learned the graphs, then you will know why. You will know why this is the way it is. Okay, we haven't learned the graphs lah. Actually, we haven't learned the graphs. Kalau admits, okay, we haven't learned the graphs because that is the next subtopic. Tetapi sepatutnya in mathematics, you should have already learned the graph. Okay, and when you learn the graph, dia bukan graph untuk kamu main lukis-lukis bila perlu. It is a graph that should be memorized right at the very beginning. Okay, the sine graph is like this. Okay, 0, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, 360 degrees. Okay, highest value is 1, lowest value is -1. This is sine. Okay, so sine 90 is 1. Okay, 270 is here. So sine 270 is -1, sorry. Okay, from this graph. Kalau cos, the cos graph looks like this. Okay, this is 360, this is 270, this is 180, this is 90, this is 1, -1, sini 0. That's why at this point, cos 0 is equals to 1. Okay, sini cos 90 equals to 0. At this point, 180 degrees, cos 180 degrees equals to -1. Cos 270 is 0, cos 360 is 1. Okay, so if you know this graph, then this graph should be able to help you to memorize these values. But for me, more importantly, is these two triangles. Okay, I would advise you to memorize the triangles daripada menghafal this nilai. Because, yalah, mau buat cara susah, tapi janganlah sampai terlampau susah lah. Okay, the triangle is a guide. It's a guide that can help you. Okay, 1 root 2 45, and then the other one is 1 root 3 2, and then 30 and 60. When you can memorize the triangle, you can get all the information. Depending on, I think, for me, I would prefer to memorize the triangle rather than the, the 9 values lah. Okay, but yes, if you answer questions, especially kalau soalan itu cakap don't use calculator, we are expecting this kind of answers. Okay, not 0.8660. Ini memang out lah. Okay, memang akan kena reject jawapan ini. Sebab ini kau sudah pakai calculator. Okay, so for your homework today, everyone, page 82, question C and question D. C and D, right? That's, yeah, okay. I'm not going to make this mistake again. Okay.